Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's presentation, Day in the Life and Settlement Brochure video production. This presentation will be audio broadcast into your computer speakers, so please make sure that your speakers are turned on and the volume is set to a comfortable level. Today our presentation is going to be given to you by two presenters. The first is Mr. John Bell. He's the owner of Janus Digital Media. John is a top producer and cinematographer, formerly of NFL Films. Having been in the film and video production industry for 40 years, John has the uncanny knack of capturing the moment as well as the technical know-how to provide clients with the very best in video production services. Our other presenter is Mr. Domingo Morales. He's a senior editor at Janus Digital Media. Domingo specializes in corporate video editing for Janus Digital Media and has experience using programs such as Avid and After Effects. He has worked for Univision, specializing in on-air commercials, and in addition to corporate videos, Domingo has also produced and edited all videos for legal settlement cases. Domingo is also bilingual, speaking fluently in Spanish and English. Today we're going to talk about the differences between the Day in the Life and Settlement Brochure videos. We're going to start the presentation with Domingo giving you some information, so I'll pass the presentation over to you. Great.
Hello, everyone. First, we're going to talk about Day in the Life videos and how they portray your client's new life. The Day in the Life video demonstrates the severity of your client's injuries, powerfully capturing their impact on his and her everyday routine activities in a factual chronology. I want to talk to you a little bit about the benefits of producing a Day in the Life video. It portrays daily activities, inclusive of care, hygiene, medicine administration, mobility, and transportation. It also depicts the severity of the injury and provides a chronological timeline of each day, essentially capturing the quality of life of your client. When should you produce this type of video? In the event of a seriously injured client, also when extreme negligence is involved, when the cost of care exceeds normal life standards, and potential life-spanning medical care, and when life care planner is necessary. Sometimes, most of the time, there's going to be modifications to the life and home of the client. Most of the time they're required for seriously injured clients. Here are a few examples of some of the types of necessary changes made to assist the client in their everyday life functions. We have ramps for wheelchairs, special modifications to kitchens in the home so that the clients can get around easily.
So at this point, just gave a brief synopsis of exactly what the Day in the Life video entails. And at this point, does anybody have any questions? If you do, please ask them in the chat feature, which is located over on the right-hand side of your screen. So some questions that we'll start with for Mr. Morales and Mr. Bell are, on average, how long does the post-production process take once you have filmed a video like a Day in the Life?
Well, the time varies. On average, it really depends on how much footage there is, what we're capturing. If we're going to be doing several interviews, it could range up to 3 days to a week. But it depends on how many interviews there are, how many experts are interviewed, and the different kinds of evidence and supporting materials that are going to be involved in the video.
Okay. Going back to the chart that we had at the beginning, I'm going to scroll back just so our participants can see the chart once again. On the left-hand side, we gave some information about the Day in the Life videos, and it discusses client activity only. What exactly does that mean? Okay.
What we do with the Day in the Life video, this is John, by the way, what we do is we go in and we actually walk in the person's shoes for one day, where we'll start filming from the beginning of the day, i.e. when the person gets up, gets out of bed, when they say go in the shower, take a shower, have their breakfast. Do they have a hard time feeding themselves? Do they need to be fed? Can they take a shower by themselves, or do they need assistance? Right? Can they go out and just walk through the entire day? Do they need special needs to get down and to get into the car? Are they able to get into the car, go out to the mall, go back, come back in? Do they, how do they have their lunch? Do they do any exercise or physical therapy? We then follow them all the way through their entire day's life. Okay. So that's what we do for that.
Okay. So as we stated, per John's information that he just answered my question, it's factual video used in court. That's all the day in the life is. There's no interviews involved. There's no animations. There's no narration. It's just actual documentary type video, correct?
What's it like to walk in this person's shoes for a day?
Okay. It says continuous timeline must be used. What exactly does that mean?
What that means is when we record the day in the life video, we record the time of day on a 24-hour base, so that we can put a time stamp in that shows the time of day that it was recorded and also the date.
Okay. And as we stated, it picks the level of care. So obviously different clients have different needs depending on what the situation is. So the day in the life video wants to portray how difficult, I'm assuming, their life can be once the event has occurred in their life.
Right. And other things, you see how they're going through their life. An example, sometimes people live in a second-floor apartment. And I know one case they have to actually carry the little girl up and down the stairway to get in and out of the apartment. And these are some of the things that these people need. These people need a ranch house. They need a house that's handicapped accessible.
Okay. So once again, we'll just reiterate the benefits to producing a day in life video. Like John said, they portray the individual's daily activity, what is inclusive of their care, their hygiene, their medicine administration, how well they can get around, and probably most importantly, their transportation. Is their transportation wheelchair accessible, those types of things?
Yes.
Okay. Shows the severity of the injury, gives a timeline of each day, and then captures their quality of life. Domingo reviewed, when should we produce this type of video. So just to kind of expand on these points, obviously in the event of a serious injury, or when there's extreme negligence involved, does that include medical malpractice, those types of situations?
Yeah, for the most part, most of the videos that I have edited have dealt with medical malpractice, and they show these in either in court or in mediation meetings, just to show, the hardships that the client has in their everyday life. But most of the time, yes, it does have to do with medical malpractice cases.
Hi, this is Michael. I haven't been introduced yet, but we will a little bit later. The real value of these is the use they are as a tool for the lawyer in court or pre-court or in settlement discussions. While depositions and pictures may do one thing, the video is so much more effective, and it enhances the emotional, it enhances the detail. It's something that can be seen and seen by everybody in the same way, and it is a great tool in every lawyer's briefcase. Somewhat underused at present, but we're hoping that the more it's been used successfully by major firms across the nation, and they find that it helps them in getting maybe sometimes a quicker settlement, a more accurate settlement, and maybe even a larger settlement, but it moves things along because they are effective emotional vehicles. The day in the life is more strictly just the facts man, whereas the settlement brochure is full of emotions from the point of view of not just the victim, but of the lives of the people around them. And it is some of the ones that you've seen, of course, we can't share them with you because they're the privacy issues. They are incredibly effective, wonderful tools to use on behalf of your
Just a couple of the other points that we have here: potential life-sustaining medical care and a life care planner. What exactly is a life care planner, and how does that play into the day in the life video?
A life care planner basically goes through what the person's needs are and what their needs are going to be for the future. Sometimes we discuss on certain cases how long are these people expected to live, and a lot of times that's considered. That's part of the planning. So, okay, how long are they going to live? What are they going to need? What kind of medical therapy are they going to need? What kind of drugs and other types of apparatus? What are they going to need for the rest of their life?
Okay. We do see some questions coming in. One of the questions we will address, and Casey will address that to you at the end of the presentation. Domingo briefly went over the modifications, and we included some examples for you. And now we'll talk a little bit about the settlement brochure videos.
Okay, I'll briefly introduce the concept of the settlement brochure videos to you, and I'll talk to you about when we should produce a settlement brochure video and what the benefits are. Basically, a settlement brochure video is a dramatic, more compelling portrayal of your client's life before and after an injury. It can be presented at mediation, arbitration, and mandatory settlement conferences to demonstrate the value and strength of your case and persuade the other side not to go to trial. When should you produce a settlement video? We noticed in the event of a seriously injured client as well, also when extreme negligence is involved, like in medical malpractice cases, malpractice with devastating effects, when the cost of care exceeds normal life standards, and when a life care planner is necessary. Some of the benefits to producing a settlement video are a powerful and compelling portrayal of the client's daily activities. It elicits emotion. It depicts the severity of the injury. Also, when there's life-altering mental and physical effects on your client, showing a dynamic audiovisual representation of the case's emotional strength is also very, very beneficial. And to display the impact of the injury and the family hardship on the client. Also, you'll be able to have a visual display of medical equipment. It appeals to the senses. It has a lasting impression of your client's existence. You'll have graphics and animations to support evidence, which add credibility. And it's all provided in a high-quality video presentation of documentary-style storytelling.
So before we get into the actual production of these two videos, if we could just briefly go over some of the benefits. We did talk about in the beginning, that a day in the life video, it could elicit emotion, but that's not the goal. The goal is a factual, day-to-day recording of what that person's life is like. So the settlement brochure, the main difference is you want to elicit the emotion. And how do you do that in these types of videos?
Okay, well, most of the time we feel like the juxtaposition of the interviews from family members and experts in the video is what elicits this emotion. Most of the time we have family that really just tell us that they get emotional when they're on camera. They tell us how they're feeling, why they're feeling this way. They talk about their family members, and it can get very emotional. And then when you back that up with experts, it's very powerful. It's very strong.
So when you say expert input onto the situation, into what happened or the accident, or
correct. Sometimes, depending on the case, most of the time it's medical experts, and it could be, it really depends on the case.
We also have noted, it can only be used in arbitration. So what exactly does that mean?
Well, what you're doing is you're creating a documentary video. So the video that you're creating, you want to tell your story in your direction to the best of your ability. So what we'll do is we'll gather as much information, the factual information, but we're going to present it in our light and the way we see the case. As Domingo said, we'll document what it's like to walk in this person's shoes, what it's like for this person to live their life, what medical needs are needed, what life care needs are needed. And the other thing that we can also add is the emotions of the family, i.e. if, let's say, someone was hurt in an accident and becomes a paraplegic, we can show photos of this person before they were in the accident, before this injury occurred. We also can then interview, say, the wife, the mother, the children, and they can go through what life was like before this tragedy occurred.
So why can it only be used in arbitration?
Well, I think that it's used in arbitration, but it can also be used before the arbitration by the attorney. Again, it's a tool in the attorney's bag, and it's because it is so full of emotion, it's something that's not easy to get into court, but it's prior to court. I mean, you could be in court on the matter, but if you're having a settlement conference, if you're talking with the other side and the judge and said, the wonderful thing about it is that the settlement videos are much more effective, and I can give you two examples without, two different ones that we've seen. They're more effective than the witnesses on the stand, and it condenses. It's like a good program. There was one matter that involved a truck accident, and it also involved the use of an expert witness on behalf of the plaintiff, who was the person we were working with. There was a deposition that came on, and the expert came in and said, "This is the way it happened," and there was an animation. And he said, "The truck must have done this, must have done that." The truck driver comes on, and in a deposition, his answers are A, B, C, and D. Then right after that is the expert again on the tape saying, A couldn't be true, B couldn't be true, C couldn't be true. And then he came on again and again. So it's a sandwiching of the best parts of the meat, one right after the other. It's a very, very good television. It's very, very good and effective. It condenses the timeline into one thing. So the use of experts and the testimony that are in depositions can really prove useful.
We have a question here from Casey. Casey says she realizes the difference between the day in the life videos and settlement videos is emotion, which we talked about. Have attorneys actually used the settlement videos? And if they have they had any problems getting them admitted in court?
Most of the time, the settlement brochures are used for arbitration. Okay, I don't think you can get them into court because they are biased in our direction, and it's there's documented, there's factual evidence in there. But again, because it's a documentary, we're creating it. We're leaning it in our direction.
Okay. So the day in the life, have you had problems with the day in the life?
Day in the life's not a problem. That's a factual documentation of this person's life.
Okay. Okay. So once again, visual display of the medical equipment gives a lasting impression of your client's existence. You can use animations, and then most importantly, it's a very high quality video that you guys use that is in a presentation or documentary style of storytelling. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the actual production of the video. So, you want to talk about it?
Sure.
Domingo's going to cover some of the things that come up with the actual creation of the video.
Sure. Basically, for production of these videos, there's three main areas: the pre-production, the production, and the post-production. In pre-production, we basically have to choose the location, set up the interviews. It involves writing the questions for the experts and family, and basically just doing all the coordinating for filming family and experts or whatever else you want. Then it's the actual production. It's filming the client during their daily activities, shooting the interviews, and the experts. And then finally, the editing, which is the post-production process, which then would trim away all the excess footage to create 20 to 40-minute videos. It's an average of the videos that we've made, anywhere from 20 to 40 minutes, usually no longer than 40 minutes. And this is where we interweave all the interviews, all the home videos, photos, animations, evidence forms, etc., to create that documentary-style video that you can present in mediation meetings.
And just a question, how long do these videos, take to create?
It depends. We've had videos that can take up to 3 to 4 days to do. As far as after everything is in, all the materials are in. We've had videos that with over 10 interviews, and it could take up to maybe 2 weeks. It really depends on how many interviews there are, what kind of evidence footage we're going to use in the video, what kind of animations are going to be included. It all depends on what the materials are for each particular case.
Okay.
One of the things we do is we do what's called like first cut, second cut, third cut, whatever we start. Most of the time, the first cut is a long piece. It may be even an hour long. We'll send that out to the law firm in a very, very low quality video form, like a real low quality. We'll email it out to you. You then take a look at it. Most of the time what the attorneys do is they'll put 2 or 3 people together in one room, and they'll look at it and make sure that everything is heading in our direction, that there's no area that we're going overboard in one particular subject or one particular area, so it just seems like a little too colossal. So then we'll go back and we'll do another cut. And at that point, we then cut it down. We would maybe take another 10, 15 minutes out of it, depending upon what you need. And then we look at it again and we kind of whittle it down so we have something we feel is representative of that case. And at that point, we then send you high resolution that you can run for your arbitration meeting. One of the things I did hear from several of our clients is that when they go into an arbitration meeting, a lot of times the actuaries are saying, okay, this is worth this, this is worth this, this is worth that, and they're stamping out the checks that they're going to cut. What has been told to me in the past is that when the arbitrator sees the person, sees the video, it now puts a face to the claims that they're going to get paid. So now that people see the suffering and see what these people are going through, that's not just a data on a piece of paper.
In relation to the production of the videos, how is the final product presented? Is it done, do you email it? Do you give a DVD? Right.
We can do both. We can either or. If they need a DVD, we can provide a DVD. We can also provide, just a digital file that they can play on any computer or any mobile device.
What's happening now? The industry is getting away from DVDs. So what we're doing in a lot of cases, we use a you send it file, and we'll actually send a file out to the client where they just download it and run on their computer. We're also now sending flash drives out too.
Going into our next slide, we're going to discuss on-location editing.
Yeah, one of the services that we've been providing recently is to be able to. We have a mobile editing system, and we've seen that it expedites the production of the video, and that we can actually come to your location, come to your law firm with the editing equipment and edit it there with you. And that seems to be very effective, and it helps with coordinating schedules. And sometimes it's hard for some attorneys to come out to where we are. So going to you and being able to edit it with you seems to have helped a lot. So
yeah, all we need is their office, and we actually use a special laptop with a little monitor. It's very compact. You can carry it on an airplane.
That's great. Is that I don't want to say useful, because that's obviously it's a useful tool, but is this something that a lot of attorneys or law firms ask for?
Well, what it allows the attorneys to do is it allows them to delegate their time, where they could be working on something in one office, come in, sit with the editor for 10 or 15 minutes, and then go back to the law firm and continue what they're doing, and then maybe an hour later come in and check on our editor and make sure things are the way they want.
What we're really doing here, where the lead attorney on the case handles his opening statement. He handles his closing statement. He is also the captain of this ship. And so by being out there in his facility, he can guide it and massage it the way that he wants it to fit into the rest of his plan, and we make it easy for him so that it can be anywhere in the nation at any time. We can come out there. He can still do what he has to do. We're sitting there, and the tool is molded the way he wants it molded.
Talk a little bit about remote presence.
We can offer remote presence in the sense that if an attorney's working on the case cannot make it to an interview shoot, we can have the attorney view the taping through remote video service. We can log him in so that he can be, in essence, there, ask any questions, or just kind of oversee the production from anywhere in the nation or anywhere in the world, really.
Okay. And they use video service on their PC with a webcam?
Right, correct.
We have a laptop. We have a laptop with a camera on it. We can just log in, and you can actually answer the questions if they want to the experts.
They can use their mobile device. They can use their laptop. They can use their tablet. As long as they can, as long as they have online capabilities, and they can log into a video service, a remote video service, then we can definitely include that into our production.
The following clip here is a testimonial from attorney Joel Feldman. Mr. Feldman has used Janus Productions for Settlement Brochure's videos in the past.
I'm Joel Feldman. I'm a partner in the Philadelphia law firm of Anapol Schwartz. For the last 15 years, I've been coordinating the firm's production of settlement videos. We decided to use settlement videos in our larger cases for basically two purposes. We wanted to expedite settlements for our clients, and we also wanted to maximize the amount of dollars that we recovered. And we've been very successful in that regard. We've done approximately 30 settlement videos during that time, and roughly 26 of those cases settled at mediation and arbitration. So the traditional route was taking a whole bunch of papers, putting exhibit tabs in, and having a thick binder that you would hand to the judge, the mediator, the other side, and go in that way. Once we learned about settlement videos, we said that there was a better way. So what we would do is we would tell our clients stories, but we'd tell it through film. We'd be able to sit down with our clients. It would be in a casual atmosphere, perhaps their home, where they're more relaxed, and we'd ask them about the case. We'd have in friends and family members, and we would talk about the case, and we would explore all sorts of items of damage in a candid fashion, a genuine fashion, but probably much more open and genuine than normally would be. The settlement videos generally have two aspects of them. We have the liability portion and the damages. Quite frankly, in most of our cases, we pretty much only dwell on the damages. We want the other side to see our client. We want the mediator to see our client, so they'll know that if the case goes into court, what the jury is going to see. Now, from the context of letting the other side see what they're going to be up against in court, I think that with a properly done settlement video, proper photography, proper editing, you actually present your client in a fashion almost better than they will be in the courtroom. And again, it's honest, it's genuine, but with editing, with photography, you can make them come across better because they're so much more relaxed in that atmosphere. A large portion of our damages cases involve people who have life care plans, people who are going to have care over the course of their entire life. So we also go out and we get a day in the life. The day in the life can be used by itself, but more typically we'll take the day in the life and we'll use that in our settlement videos. And it's very, very good to talk about what a person used to be able to do and then show what they only can do now. And the juxtaposition is very, very helpful, and it really gets the point across. Being on the East Coast, located in Philadelphia, I've used Janus Digital Media to do a number of these settlement videos and a number of the day in lives. And those are for my cases I've discussed. But I also used Janice to do a public service announcement for me, a 3-minute video that we prepared for the U.S. Department of Transportation. And this tells the story of distracted driving, a tragedy, and this particular video has been seen approximately 150,000 times around the country, and I continue to get really, really good feedback on it in terms of the quality, getting the message across. So I've used Janice for my cases and with respect to the firm, but then also used them in connection with this personal project that I have with respect to distracted driving. Something that's very exciting is that Janice is now working with TASA. It's a national group that provides technical expertise, engineers, and experts for litigation. The collaboration between TASA and Janice will make the settlement videos and the day in the lives be even that much more effective, and actually provide that service for a larger group of attorneys who need that service to better represent their clients.
Thank you again for being patient with our technical difficulty. We hope you enjoyed the testimonial video from Joel Feldman. At this point, we leave it open for any questions. We do have a question here about post-production. Does the post-production process require one of the attorneys to be present during the session?
Yes, it does not, actually. The attorney does not have to be present during the session. For the most part, we get attorneys they send me personally their comments and notes with, time-coded information based on the raw footage that they get. And they do not need to be present for the session. I will rough cut a piece for them based on their notes and send it back out to them for approval. So it's not necessary for them to be there all the time.
Let me explain. You mentioned time coding. What time coding is when we shoot the video, any type of video, there's a code that's recorded, it's a data code that's recorded embedded in the video. This code usually corresponds to the time of day. So what we do, as soon as we shoot anything, if we shoot an interview with an expert, if we shoot anything, we'll send a low-resolution video out to the attorney, along with audio. And then you can go through and pick the clips that you like. You might say, I like this, I don't like this, I like this, I don't like this. Another thing that can be done is we can send you an MPEG-3 audio file that you can send out to your transcription service and have it transcribed. So you could then cut the whole piece just like you would a deposition using your audio. Another feature we have with our system is we could actually take the first 2 or 3 words of various phrases, punch it in the computer, and our computer will find the video that corresponds to that audio. So we can cut it that way too.
So that concludes our question and discussion portion. We will be sending out a link with the PowerPoint presentation from today and a link to the recording. So if you missed any information or you have any follow-up questions, just let us know. We do have another question that just popped in from Casey. She says, we have used a settlement brochure for years, and it seems as though a video would bring the case to life. Have you used these in mediation?
Yes, we do use settlement brochures in mediation. What it does is it tells the story in a visual way. It shows the mediator what it's like, what this person's life has, how this person's life has changed and what it's like to be that person. It also shows what's in store for the person with the life care planners and what things are needed, i.e. wheelchairs, therapy, doctors, things like that are all needed for this person to live a life. Okay?
I'd like to comment on that part too. Lawyers are an interesting lot. I have my Juris Doctor and I practice, but I no longer practice. But we're also a creative lot, and we don't often get all the accolades we deserve for moving things forward. In line with your question, it could be that these videos could be used even before a suit is filed. There may be certain instances where you could save the cost of trial, save the cost of this, save the cost of full preparations, and present a video and say, before we have to spend a whole lot more, and before you have to spend a whole lot more, here might be a way for us to settle the case. It might be a tool in the hands of the right attorney at the right point in time, where it's something that avoids the ultimate turmoil and avoids clogging up the court. So you can never tell what the uses would be, but I wouldn't be surprised if some attorney does happen to do that.
The gentleman that you just heard, Michael Cimino, he's a liaison for corporate matters. Michael is a former practicing lawyer, as he mentioned. He has held general counsel and in-house counsel positions at various marketing and technology companies. He has more than 25 years in the infomercial industry and has been a director officer of many small public and private companies. Most recently, Michael has been the liaison for in-house directors and officers and all outside counsel from corporate to litigation matters. We conclude today's presentation. We appreciate the time of our presenters. For more information, you can contact TASA for the Day in the Life and Settlement Video Production at 1-800-523, or send an email to Jim Roberts, our Vice President here, at jroberts@tasanet.com. Also, since we have an offer for a discount, John's going to briefly, before we end the presentation today, discuss the cost of these types of videos. And if you call into TASA, you can use the code VID001 to receive $175 off your first Day in the Life or settlement video production.
A settlement brochure roughly costs between $10,000 to $50,000, depending upon what you want us to do. It depends how many people we're going to interview, how long it's going to be, how many photos, again, it's a mini documentary film. So I'm giving you kind of a pretty wide bridge there from 10 to 50. But that's the price for that. A day in the life video can run anywhere from $1,500 to about $3,000, depending upon what you need. Okay, so I just wanted to get the prices out there for you.
Great. Thank you, John. Once again, in addition to being your web source for testifying and consulting experts, TASA also offers e-discovery and document management solutions, free interactive webinars, research reports on expert witnesses, such as the challenge history report, professional sanction search, and the expert witness profile. We thank you again to our presenters and for all our participants today for your time. Once again, I'll be sending out a link to an archive recording of this webinar tomorrow morning. And the archived webinar will also be posted in TASA's Knowledge Center at tasanet.com/knowledgecenter.asps. Thank you again for your time today. We appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you at another webinar. Bye-bye.